Good morning. Okay, good afternoon. It is now afternoon. Let's see how much of this I can get through. I have probably done this recording a few times now, and I just ended up deleting all of it and just starting fresh because why not? So today we're going to do a journal flip through, which, by the way, I don't know if I should ask you this towards the end or in the middle, but I want to know right now, if you don't mind sharing with me, how are you coming upon this video? Has YouTube suggested it to you? Did you search specifically for something and this popped up in your search? Why are you watching this? I ask because one, I'm genuinely curious, and also I have watched many journal flip throughs over the years, and I find it so fascinating how they get a lot of views. And I wonder why. I mean, I enjoy them, but I wonder, why do other people enjoy them? I imagine people enjoy them for a variety of reasons. And I'm curious, are you one of those people? Is this your first? Like, why are you here? What's up? Anyway, I'm going to share 3 journals with you today. And some of you might be familiar with this journal, which is definitely my favorite journal. We're approaching the end of this journal because this was meant to be like a 1-month situation. And I love this journal because it's small and it fits in my pocket. If I'm wearing leggings that have pockets on the side, I can slip it in there. I love that. I can put it in my coat pocket, in my purse. It doesn't take up space. It's light. It's durable. I love the wear and tear on this. I mean, there's no tear at all. So I love that it's durable and it's been through a lot. You can see, can you see that? Like, this happened because it was in my pocket on a very hot day and got, from humidity and moisture and such. And so I think that's really cool. I love the accordion pages in here and the various aspects that flip out. I have an updated version of this that I'm excited to start using. Have I showed that to you yet? I don't know if I have, but this is meant to be the updated planner version, and this is a prototype for it. So I think for June I'll probably end up using this one and see how that works. And the reason I'm using this one is because this is going to be the new, or one of the new layouts for the 100 days journaling activity. And my 100 days will end on June 4th, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm excited to pick this up and see what we end up doing with this. How does it get used? I'm not sure yet. But I have this one, and I'll show you where we are with this. This is a journal I made back in August, specifically to use for September. Or maybe I made it in September, like at the beginning of September. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Like, this is a 5-week planner. That was the intention behind this. I think originally I was wanting to make a 3-month, but it would have been way thicker than this. And so when I made this one, I think I was thinking that this would end up being a 3-month planner. And you'll see that that is not what happened. But this encapsulates 1 month in my life here. And back in September of 2025, I set out to make that my main goal. And I find that I'm really good when I have a project that is just for a short period of time, like 2 weeks, 1 month. And yeah, so that was my commitment for 1 month. I was going to be a journal girly, and we were going to scrapbook and collage and do all sorts of things. And I did that for a whole month. And so we're going to do a little flip through of that. So there are some things in here that I absolutely love, and it's really cool to be able to look back at some of these memories and the things that I captured, and some of them are funny and some of them are sentimental, and then there are things that I will not be sharing and I wish I could share, but I don't want to, because some of them are they're things I did as a means to create privacy. So I find it very, like a journal is a private thing, and it can be very vulnerable. Like, even me sharing this with you right now, I'm a bit nervous about. But when I made this, I also have like journal entries throughout for specific days, or maybe like every single day. And so I dated the journal entries. And so they're like notes all over, and so there are things kind of like tucked away and hidden throughout. And so I don't want to share the method to the madness. And I'm sure other people have maybe a similar method, but if I do some of these things to create privacy, it defeats the purpose of privacy. If I'm telling you like, oh, look here, and this is where you'll find this, and this is how you decipher that. So I'm not going to reveal any of that, or I will attempt not to. But something I do want to highlight is the cover. I mean, I find the cover to be a little juvenile in a way, but for me, it meant something. I don't know the little girl that drew this. She drew this on the placemat at our favorite restaurant. When I say our, I mean my son and myself. Boru. I don't know why I keep saying it that way. I will probably put on the screen how the restaurant is spelled, and you decide how you want to pronounce it. But I did ask someone the other night, I was like, how do you pronounce it? What's the correct pronunciation? And I've asked several times over the year, and I still get a little mixed up, but I think it is Boru. Okay, don't trust me on that. Anyway, she drew on here, and I just loved these drawings and these like iconic figures from my childhood. We've got Princess Leia and like the little bun. Oh, like, come on. Just, that is stunning. The details. And then we've got Marilyn Monroe. I imagine it's Monroe. Unless maybe there is a Monero character. We have Sailor Moon. She was my girl. And I just like the purse. Oh my God. And the shoes, and just, and the eyes, like, you know, the eyes are like smiling, smizing. And this I thought was really cool. I love the sunglasses and the wavy hair, and then this style of arms. And I found this most curious because did someone teach her this? Did she instinctively do this, or did she see it and mimic it? Like, what is that about? We'll come back to that. So anyway, this was part of my travel diary, if you will. And so I'm here in Syros. I've got a map here, some details about the place, and yeah. I think I mentioned that I was committing to using this for an entire month, and I made that like my job, so to speak. And so I've got different things that I was trying out. Let me back up for a moment. I have recorded or attempted to record this a few times this morning, and so I don't know what I've said, what I've repeated, so bear with me. Okay, so this, I love this. Can you see that beach photo? This was such a special moment for me. I hiked all the way to this beach, and this was my first, like, was it? Okay, this was my first nude beach experience, especially with like other people around. It wasn't crowded, fortunately, but still, like, I don't know, I'm a little uncomfortable doing the whole nude thing, and this was like a little personal challenge. And I was like, I am committed to just having a good time. And while I was there, I met this little friend, or made this little friend. And so I wanted a memory of that. And this is a top that I wanted to sew, and I still haven't sewn it. And then we've got pockets. I think pockets are really cool. I have a lot of pockets throughout, and just all sorts of things happening. And I had like this because this is from some notes Liam was doing for class, so it was nice to be able to have a bit of memory from our homeschooling, or virtual homes. I don't know what you call it, but technically it's considered homeschooling, even though he's in a class, a virtual class with a whole school, teachers, students, etc. And then we've got different things in here. The layouts I think are really cool, and it's nice looking back at these notes. Start a newsletter. I haven't done that yet. Technically, I have it. I just haven't been sending it out. or letting people know that I have a newsletter. I started doing like a workout. What was that thing called? Oh well, doesn't matter. And I was also looking for places to live, and so there's like different notes in here about that. This was a fun memory. So I love peppers, spicy peppers, and at home in Orlando we grow all types of different peppers and fruits and herbs and vegetables and things. And so I think I brought over my Thai chili peppers, seeds to grow Thai chili peppers, and even Scotch bonnet and a few others, but I have not planted those yet. But I bought this plant here. Let's see if I can focus. I bought this pepper plant and then I sun dried them, and I still have that. And I thought that was a cool memory that I got to save here. And I went to this archaeological museum. And by the way, if you're here, kids get in free. And then for adults, it's €5. The other thing I love about looking through here is just seeing these different messages throughout. The universe always has my back. It always works out for you. I feel like the quotes in journals, I think that's usually why I end up keeping most of the journals that I buy, is because I like the quotes in there. Okay, this is what I wanted to note. The folded arms remind me of the folded arms the little girl drew on my cover. When and where did she pick this up? You know, like that's so neat. So I just think it'd be really interesting to know, like, if that was just something she inherently did, or if it was something she picked up along the way because she saw it done and was like, oh, anyway. So we've got a lot of layers and messages and notes, and I love that. So I also really love this label maker and that bit of detail. I love the accordion style pages. We have our calendar, and then I have this photo from the first place I stayed last year. Kind of hard to see in this video, but, and then do any of you know, okay, is that easy to see? No, there's a YouTuber. At the end of her videos, she used to do this like heart thing, and so it was fun, you know, like connecting the hearts with her. Anyway, that was a lovely memory for me. And then we've got more pockets, more little mementos. Oh, this. I made this in my pottery class. I loved that. I would like to continue with pottery. And then this was one that my mom came to visit. And so we went to a brunch, and there's her favorite YouTuber. I don't know if you guys recognize her. Anyway, I've got all sorts of cool mementos and things going on in here. I have random receipts. I don't know what we're doing with this. I don't know. I'm just gonna keep it in here for now. This page, I loved this page. This was a lot of fun to create. I used a piece of a Perea that someone had given me, and I used that to glue these pieces in. Anima Ceros, that's an annual event that happens here, and it's really cool. I wanted to attend that, so I kept this here as a little reminder. I thought this was funny. I had a conversation with Liam, and it was September 8th, and he asked me, he said, can I have the bread thing? And I said, bread thing? What are you talking about? And he's like the thing with the stuff on top. And I'm like a sandwich? And he goes, yeah. And then this I thought was a really cool record that I actually got to document. And this, you know, just happened. I wasn't living in town, so I had a car, and in the summer it's very busy, so it's hard to find free parking, so I ended up parking in the lot, which, mind you, I love parking in the lot because it's not expensive. How do I say that? I think it's 50 cents per hour, and then after the first 2 or 3 hours, I think it goes up to something else. I don't know. But anyway, like, I can never park for 50 cents per hour in Orlando, and so I love that. But anyway, I came earlier in the morning, and it was 8:30. Was that 8:30? No, 1:08. And then I came back in the evening at 17:06. But here's the funny part, and this is a thing. I have a bunch of photos of windshields and dirty windows that people have drawn in, and you always find these like floating penises and boobs and and so we've got this little penis here happening, and then a few hours later someone added to it, and I just thought like, why? What is this about? But I thought it was really cool to see the, you know, the natural transition of this, like earlier in the day, later in the day, and I actually had a record of it. So anyway, apparently that was important enough to share. And by the way, this was important enough. I was drinking a lot of tea during this time, and favorite tea combo of the week, honey chai turmeric vitality, and this one is the Lipton vanilla caramel. So good. Oh my goodness. And then, oh my God, Hermes Hotel, incredible place. I had a lovely memory of this that, yeah, anyway, I'm not gonna get into that because I'm trying to keep this brief. But I did not stay there in September. And I hope I find the envelope that this goes to, because there's a specific reason why I had saved this, and it's in correlation to the actual envelope it comes with, but I still want to hold on to this. Anyway, Placostrato. Anyway, amazing restaurant, beautiful view, and the best fried mushrooms I have ever had. Oh my God, I cannot wait to go back. And then, as I mentioned, I was eating a lot of tea at the time, and for some reason I felt the need to keep it. And then I also found one of the old labels for A Cup of Infinite Possibilities, and I put that in here. And so we've got things. Oh yeah, make a journal for Dana and Steph. That is still on my to-do list, but I'm closer. Dana is moving tomorrow, actually, so when I get her new address, I will be sending that off to her. Gaga, are you guys familiar with Gaga? I tried doing like a whole 1 month experience of Gaga, and it lasted like 2 days, but at least I tried it. And then I've got a lot going on. One of my favorite designers and stores here, Chrysanthi, definitely check them out. Actually, everything on this block is fabulous. Let's see. The idea map, one of my favorite things. This one, I didn't do too much to, but I love having idea maps in every single journal. And this one I did happen to fill up. I'm gonna show you. You'd think I know where it's located. So I'm still using this one. I guess for full reference, I guess we're already onto this one. So I started this in October last year. So I started with September, and then I was like, all right, for this one, maybe it'll end up being like a 3-month situation, but we're here, it's now June 1st, and I'm still using the same planner. And so some changes I've made along the way. So I'm making a new one, and originally what I noticed with this one is that as I was using it, I was good for about actually I don't even know for how long I was good with it, but I intended for it to be like every week we keep going. And so in doing that, we end up having some blank pages or spreads because maybe we don't fill it up as often. What is this? What if it all works out? I don't remember what this page is about. Yeah, I love this page. What if it all works out? So the premise to this is a little private, so I'm just going to cover that a little bit. The premise to this is, just the question of what if, if there could be the best case scenario of things, what would that look like? And so different ideas would come to mind, and I would put that in here. So you could almost think of it as like a little wish list, or, kind of just shifting your mindset. Sometimes it's easy to think about the worst case scenario, but what if the best case scenario could happen, or something close to it? So I thought it was important to have a page dedicated to that, and that was what that was about. And I had used, I think it's cool. I don't know at what point I will forget what all the pieces how do I say that? Where all the pieces came from. So this pink came from a shopping bag from the Pink Lady. And this, where did this come from? Ooh, and this was from a shopping bag. I don't remember the name of the store. Oh wait, no, this was from the art store in town. Anyway, it's kind of cool to be able to reference where all the components came from. This is also from that same shopping bag. And we've got receipts, all types of things. Anyway, and then this is what the journal pages had originally looked like for A Cup of Infinite Possibilities. And then this was another week. This is from Kin Cow, the Thai restaurant here. They stamp their bags, and I love their bags, their stamps, their food, everything. And so I wanted to have a memory of that in here. And I was playing with the layout. And so the other reason I did this, I think I had used this a little bit longer than September. Actually, I don't know. My style sort of changes throughout, but I feel very wasteful about how do I say that? I feel wasteful about, like, if I have a week where I'm not as active in my journal and then I just skip to the next week and then suddenly I have all of this blankness, and it's like, why? So I had started adding these extra flaps so I could continue using this. So if maybe I only wrote one thing for one day and then the next week came about, I would just continue on the second week and then do it on this top piece, if that makes sense. So sometimes that's what this is about, and other times it's because I wanted to add extra notes, but I didn't want those to be prominent. And so the only way you would know what some of those more private things are is to just kind of look underneath. Not that I'm trying to give my secrets away, but like I said, anyway. And so then, have you tried their fragrances? So lovely. My mother and I have fragrances from here, and so I love the texture on this, but I also just love the memory of when she came to visit and us going out and hanging out and her buying me one of the fragrances. This tea, oh my God. So also when she came, she brought some teas that I had in the cabinet in the pantry at home in Orlando, and I bought these, I think when they were on sale or I had a coupon or something, and I thought it would be good, and at the time I did not like them. And then when she brought these to me, I tried them again and I was hooked. So obsessed. This one's like a coffee alternative. So good. I want more of these. So I kept it as a reminder for myself. Get more of these. Okay, this quote I think is fabulous. I heard someone on Instagram say this and I was like, you know what? I need to be reminded of that. It said someone out there is gonna love this because people have bad taste. It's true. It's absolutely true. And at the time, again, I was looking around trying to find a place to move into, hopefully someplace more long-term instead of having something that's very common on the island. It's hard to find a place that will offer you a 1-year lease because usually come summertime, all the places turn into Airbnbs and, you know, the rent is very, very high. And so I was trying to find somewhere, and at some point I did find a place, and so I was very excited. Yay, we have a home. So I have memories of that. And then we've got a lot of like little things in here that I want to remember, and more things going on, more notes, sewing projects that I wanted to be reminded of. I still need to print out all of my inspiration photos. I want to have a catalog of that specifically, and more of this tea. And I like using the teas as pockets. I haven't glued this in yet. I don't know why or what that was about. And then we've got this. We've got moving day. This is, I don't know why it was so important for me to include this in here, but by far my favorite Tabasco, the habanero version. Oh my God, I can put that on absolutely anything and everything and I will be completely happy. So I've got different memories in here from my time in the hospital, and which that was a very traumatic experience. And here we are with a blank page. I think this was the week I ended up in the hospital, so there really wasn't much to share there. And then they've got prompt ideas for journals I was working on, things by Gideon's birthday present. It was funny seeing this because when I had looked through October, I was glancing through here and I saw something and I was like, oh, that's funny. I was mentioning, mail that fucking package already. It took me a long time to mail Gideon's present. But I finally mailed it. Actually, it's funny why it took me so long, because I was mailing him a bunch of sour candies because that's all he wanted. And Gideon is my son's friend from one of his classmates. And all he wanted was sour candy. So we went all over the island finding all the sour candies. And I happen to really love sour candy myself. So I kept eating it and I kept needing to replace it. And so I had a great time taking on that endeavor of like getting the gift and finding a way to mail the gift and figuring out, how do I mail it? Where do I go? How does this work? So yeah, that was my first time mailing something from the island. And I ate a lot of candy in that process. So we are on to the current one. And I took a different approach with this. When I made this, I had started off adding all of these labels for each of the weeks in the beginning. And then in this one, I was like, you know what, let's play around with different spreads. Do we want it like this? Do we want to do something else? I'm still really very much into these different flaps. And like this one is completely glued down and there's nothing here. I don't know what that's about. I think we're back. It's the next day. So hopefully I can continue where I left off. I think where I left off was discussing the new layout and some things I was trying with it. Also yesterday what did I do? I was editing, doing some preliminary editing, and I enjoyed watching everything. And as I'm, hearing myself and looking at the pages, I was picking up on different things that I had overlooked. And it made me want to record a kind of recap video, or maybe not, I don't know what you would call it, but essentially there's some memories and techniques I use that I wanted to highlight in an individual video. So I may end up doing that, some reflections, if you will. But what I forgot to mention something that I also really love about this one that I did not do in this, since we're about to talk about some things that I changed going into this journal. The sections come with hidden pockets, very similar to what we have here in the smaller version. And I like them because they're very discreet, which I think is important, especially if you have this in public or someone finds it and they're rifling through it. They're not likely to know to, look for the hidden pockets in there. And I design these with a lot of hidden pockets. So that is something I did not do in this one, and mainly because I don't really know why. Oh, I think because I just didn't find myself really using it in here. And you can make them on the fly. They're so easy to create. So I figured as I needed them, I would create it. And I just apparently never needed it. Or did I? I don't know. So when I made this one, I had initially added all of the labels because I intended on using this for a period of 5 weeks. And going into this one, I took a more loose approach and just added things week by week. And so I started this in October and knew that I wanted to add the November calendar just so I can see it. And then I ended up adding December and didn't even finish officially adding it. Like there's no label here. And we are now, it is June 2nd. So I have been using this far longer than I intended to, and I love that for me. And it's still filled up for the most part. And part of the reason why I really like creating my own journals and just designing them to suit my needs is because I'm not a consistent planner or journaler. And I don't like having blank spaces and pages, especially if something is dated and I might not use it for a whole month. And all of a sudden I've got, a whole section that is blank. And if I'm bringing this with me, then I'm bringing around a bunch of empty sheets of paper. And like, what is the purpose of that? It's unnecessary. And I have been using this for a whole month, and as you can see, I have not filled this up entirely. There's still plenty of gaps and space in here. Even my calendar, it's not, you know, I haven't filled it up in that way, but I have. And then I have a lot of things going on in the pockets and different mementos that mean something to me, little notes throughout and other notes kind of hidden about, but this suits me. I'd rather carry this on me day by day instead of carrying my whole life with me, if that makes sense. This is heavier, it's bulkier. I mean, it's really not heavy, but compared to this, you know, it's heavy. So this is more of like my catch-all, if you will. So for instance, in the month of May, I sent out my first snail mail, and I kept a receipt in here. But I also it was registered mail, and so I put that in here. And surprisingly, it arrived yesterday on June 1st. So it took a little less than it basically took a month, but I mailed it on the 8th of May. So it arrived less than a whole month. So that was pretty cool. And it's nice to have a memory of that. So this one is a little less complete than in here. Like for instance, I haven't even finished gluing this page together. This was from the Syros International Music Festival. That was amazing. So incredible. And I wanted a memento of that. And I had plans on putting the program in here. Did I do that? No, I haven't done that. And so something that is a carryover, there are some elements that I took from here and continued over here. For instance, I have this section where I put epiphanies, gratitude, otherwise awesome, which that is in here, but I apparently didn't talk about it. And so this is where I write down things that happened during the day or the week that I'm just so grateful for. And I'm like, ooh, glad that happened, or ooh, so how amazing. And in tune with this, I have this little pocket section that it's a little, gotta hide some of those. It says pretty please and thank you. So this is a little pocket, and this journal or planner also has a similar pocket, and this is where I write down almost like wishes, you know, things that are kind of out of my control that I would like resolved, or things that I might be worried about that I just want to like hand off to whomever, the powers that be, the universe, my ancestors, I don't know, but you know, life tends to be pretty good, and whoever's to thank for it or helping, I kind of give that to them. I don't know why this isn't here. I just needed a pocket for my grocery card. And so this was from when I was starting my Greek lessons, and it is incomplete. I got sick and had missed a few classes, and then I got too embarrassed to go back, so I felt like, oh my God, I'm so far behind. And then the idea map, that is also a carryover, and as you can see, I have been filling this out, and there's stuff everywhere. But now this is helpful because if I ever need to find ideas or just kind of gain some direction, or just, you know, whatever, I can go back here. And it's nice having a collection of these. I've got some here, I've got some there, I've got some in a few other places. I will admit that I am not very good at going back and reviewing my notes or previous journals, but for these, I typically know where to find certain things. Like in here, this is the one thing I definitely reference. You know, measurements. I use this when sewing because I need to know measurements. I use this when sewing, when creating prototypes, and I've got to get like the measurements. This is helpful. So we've got this section that's a carryover. What else? The idea map. You can see, I don't know why I have a napkin in here, but we're gonna keep that there. Not filled out entirely, but I still kept going. And because I wasn't using it as religiously as this one, this kind of doesn't really flow in chronological order. Some aspects of it does, and then others don't. This was from this weekend, and I mainly put it on this page because it fell in line with some creative things I did this week. I don't really count going to the movies as something creative I did this week, but you know, it fit on this page. And then I have a plane ticket that I included in there. So some of it doesn't really have a full rhyme or reason, but it's in here and I like it, and it's cool to go back and be reminded of certain things. I did date this, so this, you know, it took me this long to get to December. So October, November, December, this is 3 months of my life. But I do think that during this time I was probably also using one of these to accompany me. So I really liked this print. So I said replicate this print, you know, something about this I wanted to use. This is an old journal that was part of a previous version of A Cup of Infinite Possibilities, and that it would accompany tea or coffee. But the journals look like this now. And we've got more notes going on, more messages, and this is from a knitting project. I'm working on the Sophie scarf. Is it called the Sophie scarf? I think it's a Sophie scarf. I had to count my stitches or rows, and I have different elements in here that I wanted to include that I haven't yet. And then some are just things that I needed to hold on to. So there's not a full rhyme or reason. At some point I might go through and make sense of it. I have journaling prompts and activities, some that I collected from other people, some that I've made myself. And when I am thinking, I find that it helps me to think by writing things out and then cutting them out and then pasting them where I need to. I guess it's more of like a kinetic way of processing. And then when I'm mapping out ideas, I have to compartmentalize by creating, you know, like, so I can see my individual thoughts and rework them. And so that is my approach to things. And then I like that I can just stick it in a pocket and a whole mind mapping exists in here, and it doesn't take up a ton of space. I can find it when I need to, if and when I ever return to this project. So this candy, oh my goodness, if you ever get a chance to try this salty, crunchy, it's like these little balls. They are amazing, let me tell you. And we have more pockets here. This is the 100-day journaling activity. And I thought my 100-day ended on the 4th, but in actuality it ends today, June 2nd. So I'm really excited to take some time later and reflect on my 100-day activity. Different notes. This was from a meal I had prepared, some to-do lists. I love how it feels to be in this body. I had surgery, and I'm happy to say that I now feel really good. I feel incredible. I've got all sorts of notes and things that I fold up. Cheese pie. These are my 2 favorite cheese pies, in case you are wondering. I bet you're not, but if you ever are in Greece, definitely try these. Emmental or amazing. What else do we have going on? As you can see, my measurements that I definitely include. And then I've got Post-its for different ideas and products and stuff. Receipts. This was tracking information. I'm really obsessed with this color and on paper, and it was a to-do list. I love how simplified my to-do list. I had 2 major things that I needed to do that day: post office and the art shop. So yeah, and these are all the pages I have left. And then I have this card back here. This was from Gideon's birthday. His family, they're Dutch, and so one of the Dutch traditions is during birthdays, they actually get a gift for their friends, or I think the whole class. I'm not well versed on the entire tradition, but my son attends an online world school, and so he has classmates all over the world, and they happen to be in the Netherlands. And so It was really cool to receive a gift from them, and then in kind to also get them a gift. And I just really, this is just such a lovely memory. And yeah, so anyway, so that is at the back. And we are now going to create an updated version of this, and I'm really excited about that. So yeah, so that is my flip through. We made it through, yay. Still hands down my favorite. This is a larger version of that, and we have more sections. So basically each signature is one of these, just in a larger format. So yeah. Do you think this is a journal or a style that you would like? Even the smaller version, the pocket size, or the bigger one? What's more your vibe?